down your back pockets. Pull that belly button in and just gently squeeze your glutes. So your pubic bone and your hip bone is completely vertical. So keep on pulling that belly button to the spine. You've always got a micro bend in the knees. You're going to hold on to your shoulders today. You can do this on your tiptoes if you want to. And you're going to start drawing big circles. So imagine you have a pencil shooting out your elbow and you're drawing big circles, squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you want to challenge your core, you can come up onto your tiptoes. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, glue your ankles together on your tiptoes. Big circles, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And in the opposite direction, just mobilizing all the muscles in the shoulders. Whoops. Focus on a point out in front of you on your tiptoes. Keep on holding on to your shoulders, come down to the soles of your feet. And you're going to dip your chin to your chest, touching your elbows together, C-curve in your spine, stretching out the muscles in your back. Spinal extension, squeeze your shoulder blades together, chest up to the sun. Dip your chin to your chest, try to touch your elbows together, C-curve your spine, chest up to the sun, so open up your chest. Spinal extension, flexion, chin to chest, elbow to elbow, chest up to the sun. Squeeze your glutes, protect your lumbar spine. Chin to chest, elbow to elbow, chest up to the ceiling. We squeeze those shoulder blades together. One more. And open up. And back to center. You're going to hold on to your hips. You're going to lengthen your left arm up to the ceiling. Can you see? I'm going to hold on to the back of my pelvis and I'm pushing my elbow inwards. Can you see what I'm doing? And I'm pushing in. You're going to push into your right side of your pelvis and you're going to lengthen your chest up to the ceiling. Lengthen that arm, spinal extension and back to center. You can do this on your tiptoes if you want to just challenge your balance a little bit more. Squeeze the glutes and back to center. We'll do one more. I'm pushing. You're going to push into your right back of your pelvis, chest up to the ceiling and back to center. Lengthen your right arm up to the ceiling. You're going to hold on to the back of your pelvis. And I'm pushing into my pelvis. And can you see my elbows coming inwards? So you can do this on your tiptoes if you want to. Chest up to the ceiling, lengthen that arm, squeeze your glutes. We'll do another one, pushing into your pelvis. Pull your belly button to the spine. So I'm squeezing my glutes to protect my lumbar spine. One more. Squeeze my glutes, chest up to the ceiling, little spinal extension and back to center. You can have a wider stance, just wider than hip width apart. Hold on to your hips, lengthen your left hand up and over. Squeeze the glutes. You can feel a deep stretch in your waist there, holding that stretch. Nice waist wrinkle. Some of you might want to lengthen your arms down your thigh. That's tension on the lumbar spine, but some of you might want to do that as you come back to center. Hold on to your hips, lengthen your right, up and over. Hold on to your hip if you get tension in the lumbar spine. Some of you might want to lengthen your arm down your thigh, or some of you might be using two arms. Squeeze the glutes, that puts pressure on my lumbar spine. So it's up to you if you lengthen one or two arms. Lengthen your right, up and over. Squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, stick out that left hip. Some of you might lengthen that arm down your thigh. Some of you might lengthen both arms up to the ceiling. We'll do another one, lengthen up and over. Lengthen, lengthen. Try not to bend that arm. You're lengthening, sticking out the hip. Some of you will lengthen that arm down your leg, or some of you will lengthen both arms away. I'm not going to do that. It's too much pressure on my lumbar spine for me. Pull the belly button to the spine and lengthen your arms back to center. Bring your feet in, Pilates stance if you can, gluing your heels together. We're going to hinge forward and pick up the band. Now, some of you might have a block in front of you, just takes the pressure off your lumbar spine if you lean on the block or the ball. So hold on to your hips, Pilates stance, feet out to a 90-degree angle, hinge at the hips. So really stick out the bottom, pull your belly button to the spine, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, micro bend in the knees, pull that belly button to the spine. We're working the deep core muscles there. but feeling a deep stretch. Hold on to your thighs or let the top of your body hang as you slowly come down to your block or maybe the floor. So I'm pushing into my heels, tailbone up to the ceiling, and I feel like I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. I'm lengthening from the hip joints. Hold on to the band, not too tight. As you lengthen your right arm out to the side or maybe up to the ceiling. Don't rotate your hips. Rotation of your upper spine. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Left arm out to the side or up to the ceiling, pushing into your heels, tailbone up to the ceiling, and lengthen, lengthen back to center. Micro bend in the knees, hold on to your thighs or just let the top of your body hang as you restack. I'm really squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button to the spine, restacking my spine. So you can see I'm C-curving my spine, not coming up with a straight back. And you're up into mountain. Oh, now the sun again. Hold on. I'm not doing very well here. Sorry, guys. I can see. That's better. Sorry. So up into mountain. Only if you want to, come onto your tiptoes. Or if you want to really challenge your balance, glue your ankles together. Prayer. Pray your hands together, arms in line with your ears. Pull that belly button to the spine. And focus on something that's not moving, really helps with your balance. Mountain. One more prayer. Arms in line with your ears. You can see it in the mirror, actually, my arms are in line with my ears. And one more mountain. I'm really pulling my belly button to the spine, really helps with my balance. And back to center. And just roll out to your shoulders. Now we're going to do some squats. You can do it with or without the band. And you're going to pull the band apart. So you can either squat holding on to your thighs, push into your heels, take the pressure out to your toes and come back to standing. Or you can lengthen your arms out with or without the band. Don't let your knees come over your toes and you're pulling the band apart. Nice straight back. Push into the heels. And back to center. So your range of motion, you might come to here, you might come even lower. Pull that belly button to the spine. And the more you lengthen those arms out in front, the deeper you'll be able to sit into that imaginary chair, pushing into your heels. So I've got no pressure on my toes, it's all in my heels. Keep those knees hip width apart, don't let them sort of come inwards or outwards. I'll show you from the front in a minute, pushing into your heels. So I'm not doing that as I'm sitting down, my knees are hip width apart. Really lengthening those arms out in front unless you're holding onto your thighs for support. And pull that band apart. You can have that band as slack, as tight as you want. You can stay down here for as long as you want, it's up to you. One more. So I'm staying down for 2 to 3 seconds. Some of you might want to stay down for maybe 8 to 10 seconds. Push into the heels and back to center. And we're just shake it out. We're just going to try one balance. I've forgotten what this one's called, but I think it's called airplane or something like that. So can you lengthen your arms down your thighs? And can you see my palms are facing forward? I'm going to step my right foot back, nice straight back. Normally we do this, but today your arms are lengthening down your thighs, but my palms are facing outwards. Nice straight back, don't lean forward. Take some pressure out that big toe of your right leg. Stay there for as long as you want. Have a little rest and come back into position. And I'm really lengthening my arms away. Now my palms are facing down to the floor. And back to center. We'll do the other side. You're lengthening your left leg behind you. Pull the belly button spine. Lengthen those arms down your thighs, palms are face forward. We're meant to be like an airplane. Don't lean forward, keep your shoulders down your back pockets, take a bit of pressure out your big toe. So you might be here, micro bend in the knee, rest and come back into position. And the aim is to get lower, the aim is to get to a T. Focus on a point out in front, something that's not moving, about 3 foot out in front. Rest whenever you like and come back into position. Complete stability. And just shake it out. So you're really stretching the hip flexors because you're really lengthening. but you're working the core because you're balancing. Okay, you should feel nicely warmed up. Step forward and we'll come down to the mat. So we're going to do spine stretch. And the beauty with Pilates is you come to the level that's good for you. So I'm going to do a spine stretch and we're working our triceps for this one. So I'm using my black band. I want to torture myself a bit. Just prove that I'm still okay, mid-century old. So my feet are mat width apart. I'm holding on, sorry, my feet aren't mat width apart. They're hip width apart. I'm lengthening up. I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. If those find it difficult with a band, you can pretend you have a band in your hand and you're going to lengthen and lift your arms behind you, pushing your palms together. So you do exactly the same movement without the band. The rest of us have the band as slack as tight as you want. I've got a strong band, but you might have a really light band. So lengthen up, hinge forward, nice straight back. Flex those feet, micro bend in the knees. So I've got a nice straight back and my elbows are tucked into my rib cage. Those with lumbar spine issues, keep this nice straight back as you lengthen your arms behind. But if you can, round and curl your spine. Those with no lumbar spine issues. Flex the feet, elbows tucked into the rib cage, C-curve the spine back to center. So we're stretching the muscles in the back of our legs, elongating our spine, hinge forward, and really working the triceps, the muscles in the back of our arms. Hinge forward, nice straight back, pull your belly button to the spine. And I feel like someone's pulling me from the crown of the head. The rest of us are going to round and curl, straight back for those with lumbar spine issues. Lengthen and lift those arms behind. If you don't have a band, lengthen and lift those arms, trying to push your palms together. Elbows tucked in tight to your rib cage. Pull the belly button to the spine and back to seated. We'll do one more. Hinging forward. So I feel the length coming from the hips. And I feel like someone's pulling me from the crown of the head. Nice flexed feet. And round and curl, unless you've got lumbar spine issues, straight back. I'm holding for 2 to 3 seconds. Some of you can hold for as long as you want. C-curve the spine and back to center. Can you now have your feet mat width apart? Either you're going to lengthen the arms up to the ceiling, stretching the triceps. If you can, we're hinging forward. If that's too uncomfortable, place your hands in between your legs. Hinge forward, nice straight back. In pull bar piece of string, flex feet. Now everyone puts their hands on the mat, round and curl, unless you've got lumbar spine issues. Keep a nice straight back. And I'm walking my hands forward in pull bar piece of string from the crown of the head and lengthening from the hip joints. Then C-curve the spine. Back to center. So we're going to slowly roll down. So either assistance of your back, of your band, we do this one every week, or level 1. 2, you don't want to see your elbows or just the peripheral, just your elbows and your peripheral vision, level 3. I'll start at level 2, relax the feet and legs, lean back bandage. Scoop the pelvis, so I'm turning my spine into a wheel now. Really C-curving that spine. Relax the feet, relax the legs, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, and breathe. Really round and curl that spine as you slowly, slowly roll down. Remember to breathe. Especially as you breathe out through the mouth, pull the belly button to the spine. And if you find you come down too quickly, you have that little flat cheek cushion underneath your lumbar spine. Stops you falling down really quickly. Slowly. And if you find you come down too quickly, lengthen your arms over your head and come back up and do another roll down. Hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Cross your ankles if you can, pulling your knees apart. Just stretching the lumbar spine. Now keep on hugging the left leg, lengthen the right leg away, and really relax the muscles, really relax. Hug the knee to the chest, lengthen the right leg away. Right knee, left knee slightly out to the side, thigh skims your rib cage. Relax the muscles. Hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, depends on your flexibility, and push into your heel and start circling your ankle one way and then the other. Some of you might want to float up your head and shoulders, but this is a progression. Don't do it if you get any tension in the neck. And I'm still hugging my lengthened leg to the chest. Bend the knee, lengthen it away, and bring up the opposite knee. So I'm lengthening through the hip joint of my left leg. Really relaxing. As I take a breath in, I'm going to see if I can just deepen my stretch. Bring the right knee slightly out to the side, thigh skins your rib cage, and hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, depending on your flexibility, and start circling the ankle one way and then the other. Lengthen and lift your head and shoulders as the progression, but really try to peel those shoulders off the mat. Still feeling a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of the legs. Bend the knee to tabletop, right knee, tee your arms, right knee over to the left, look in the opposite direction. Keep those shoulders glued to the mat, and you want that knee to be as close to the mat as possible. Some of you might find lengthening that right leg away a deeper stretch. It's up to you. You can keep the leg bent or extended. It varies for some people. I find my stretch is deeper, keeping my knee bent. Now everyone bends their knee, relax the foot and relax the leg and the foot, and bring your knee back to center. Really relax. I'm squeezing my glutes. My core is doing the work. And swap over. Left knee, right knee, left knee over to the right. Look in the opposite direction. Arms at T, shoulders glued to the mat, and my knee is close to the mat as possible. You can put a little bit of pressure on your knee if you want to. And if you find extending that leg is a deeper stretch, so extend the leg or keep it bent. Just find the deep stretch for you. Now everyone bend that knee, relax the foot and leg and bring the knee back to center. Hugging your knees to your chest and rocking from side to side, or you might feel warmed up enough to do one of your rollovers. So hugging your knees to your chest is stretching your lumbar spine, and a rollover is just a progression of stretching your lumbar spine. Part your legs, flex your feet. Remember, the rollover is progression. Don't do it if you get any pressure in the lumbar spine. And back to supine. Take the block away. We're going to start with the bridge. You can roll up on one or two legs. So it's up to you. So you can have both feet on the mat as we roll up to bridge, or you can extend the leg and roll up on one leg. So we're doing a bridge with a water droplet. So feet closer to your seat bones, push into your heels, squeeze the glutes. And you come up to that perfect ski slope, pushing into your heels. Lengthen your knees away, they're hip width apart. Some of you might want to come onto your tiptoes as you lengthen your arms up to the ceiling or maybe over your head. You have a droplet of water in between your hip bones, and you're rolling the droplet of water to the left hip and then droplet of water to the right hip. Maintain that alignment from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. Lengthen those knees away. Lengthen those arms up to the ceiling or over your head. So we're rolling that droplet of water from the left to the right hip. Now we're slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time in sequential order. So I'm scooping my pelvis there, and I'm still rolling my droplet of water from the left to the right hip as I slowly roll down my vertebrae one at a time and lengthen my arm back to center. So feet close to your seat bones. We're going to do it again. Some of you might want to roll up on with one leg extended. So swap over legs. It's much harder. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling over your head, and you're going to roll the droplets of water. I find it too hard. So I'm rolling my droplets of water from my left to right hip. Alignment from my knees to my hips to my shoulders. Push into those heels unless you're on your tiptoes. And now we're going to slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. And I'm tucking in my pelvis. I'm tucking my tailbone under. So I want to roll down one vertebrae at a time as I'm rolling the droplet of water from my right hip to my left hip, and I'm slowly rolling down my spine from top to bottom. And then lengthen your arms back to center and back into supine. Grab your block, put your block behind your head. And the first exercise that we're going to do is the diamond leg lower. So I might have to show you from a different angle. So you're bringing both knees, you can do one or two legs, but if you can, both knees up to tabletop, and you're going to cross your ankles. I'm going to show you from here. Tabletop, you're crossing your ankles. We've done this before. So it's fat diamond, skinny diamond. I'm going to show you from the side in a minute. Now, if that's too difficult, you put one leg down, but can you see I'm still rotating my hip outwards? So it's though I'm still crossing my ankles. And you do skinny diamond, fat diamond. And I'm going to tell you to swap over halfway through. So one or two legs, cross those ankles, fat diamond, pull those knees apart. So you should feel it around your thighs into your glutes. So fat diamond, you're going to lengthen out your legs, lengthen, still crossing your ankles, skinny diamond. Fat diamond, pulling those knees apart, lengthen out those legs, skinny diamond. You've still crossed those ankles. Fat diamond. And I still feel like I'm pulling my knees apart as I come to a skinny diamond, but I'm still trying to prise my knees apart. And I can really feel it in the core, and I can feel it in the thighs, and I can feel it wrapping around my glutes. Now the aim, fat diamond, and the aim is to get those legs lengthened as low as possible to the mat. So your fat diamond, your legs might be lengthened closer to the ceiling, skinny diamond. You might come out by 45 degrees. Or you might be able to lengthen those legs closer to the mat, skinny diamond, but I really feel I'm still prizing my knees apart. So I really want to get a really big fat diamond there, still want a fat diamond, lengthen out the legs, but I'm still prizing my knees apart. You choose the arm position that's good for you. If you want to progress, you lengthen those arms up to the ceiling. If you want to progress further, you lengthen your arms over your head. Don't flare out your rib cage, pull your belly button to the spine. If you want to progress further, you interlace your fingers behind your head and float up your head and shoulders. Fat diamond. So you might be lengthening those legs closer to the ceiling, taking pressure out your lumbar spine, or you might be able to lengthen those legs at 45 degrees, or you might be able to keep them a few inches above the mat. Just choose the level that's good for you. Some of you might just be resting your head on the mat. Some of you might have your arms up to the ceiling, or over your head, or interlace. Let's just do a couple more. So I can really feel this wrapping around my thighs and into my glutes and my core. Oh, I can really feel that in the thighs. So I'm really thinking about prizing those knees apart. Let's do one more. Fat diamond, lengthen, prizing my knees apart, even though it's a skinny diamond. And hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. You should have felt that in your thighs and your quads there. Let's have your knees, your feet mat width apart or even wider if you've got long legs. Bring your arms to T, drop your knees to the left so your feet are mat width apart. If you've got really long legs, even wider. So I'm dropping my knees to the left. Now you're getting your left foot and you're resting it on your left knee, if you can. And you're tilting your pelvis, you're squeezing your glutes so you feel a deep stretch in the muscles in the front of your legs, in your hip area here, your hip flexor. So I'm tucking my tailbone under, squeezing my glutes, lengthening my top knee away. So I'm feeling a deep stretch in the hip area. Left foot comes down to the edge of my mat. I bring my knees back to center. I drop my knees over to the right. Lengthen that top knee away. So I feel a stretch already in my muscles in the front of my legs. and your right foot rests on your left knee. And I'm squeezing my glutes, lengthening that top knee away, so I feel a deep stretch in the quads, muscles in the front of my legs, and the hip area there, my hip flexor. Right foot comes down to the edge of the mat and bring your knees back to center and back into supine. Now we're going to interlace our fingers behind our head for this one. So I know, Sue, you cannot do this one. So you're going to do dead bug fly. So you're going to lengthen your left arm out to the side as you lengthen your right leg away. You might have weights in your hand and back to center. Dead bug fly, and the other side, left leg, right arm, with or without weight. You know, you can do this with the soles of your feet on the floor, or you can do this at tabletop. So I'm going to let you carry on with that one. When the rest of us interlace our fingers behind our head. So I'm resting my head in my hands, but I'm not tugging, really sort of pushing on my head. I'm just taking the pressure out my neck. Pull the belly button to the spine. So I lengthen and lift my head and shoulders, resting my head in my hands. Little Satsuma, so a little orange underneath my chin. Right hand lengthens to left knee. Lengthen that right arm up to the ceiling, over my head, lengthen that arm, then interlace your fingers behind your head and rest. Lengthen and lift your head and shoulders. Left hand lengthens, trying to touch your right knee. Lengthen that left arm over your head, lengthen. This is rib cage closure. Melt your rib cage into the mat. Interlace your fingers behind your head and rest. So I lengthen and lift my head and shoulders, peeling those shoulders off the mat so you can come a bit higher. Right hand to left knee, lengthen. So I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. So I lengthen through my shoulder joint, lengthen that arm up to the ceiling, keep it really lengthened over my head. I'm still floating up my head and shoulders, interlace and back down to the mat. Should feel this in the core. I don't want to sit, just see your shoulders, in your elbows and your peripheral vision. So I'm lengthening through my shoulder joints and I'm trying to peel all my shoulders off the mat. So you should feel it in the core. I can really feel that in the core. And I feel like a cracker because I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Lengthen and lift head and shoulders. So I feel my head being tugged in one direction and I'm lengthening through my shoulder joint in the opposite direction. Can you still see I've lengthened, lifted my head and shoulders? It's not until I interlace my fingers behind my head, I rest. Lengthen and lift. I'm going to see if I can come a little bit higher. Hand to opposite knee. See if you can peel those shoulders off the mat a little bit more. If you really want to progress, you can bring your knees up to tabletop, but I find this one hard enough. Let's do one more either side. Further progression, you lengthen out to your legs. But as you can see, oh, I've stopped talking. One more. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. I'm still floating up my head and shoulders. Interlace, rest, and hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Some of you might want to do your Joseph Pilates rollover. So it doesn't matter if you just roll over to here. You're still parting your legs, flexing your feet, and lowering your legs to a point. That's good for you. You don't want to flare up your rib cage. Full body stretch. Pull your belly button to the spine. Melt your rib cage into the mat. Lengthen your fingers and toes away from each other. And then we'll roll to the side. So today we're going to do the classic side kick. So you're going to you're in one straight line. And I want all of you to bring your both legs out in front by about 40 centimeters. Now you either lie on your arm, head in your hands, or you can come up to your elbow. Or bring your elbow out slightly and hold on to your forehead. So you choose the level that's good for you. So my legs are out to, they're in front, both of them by about 40, 50 centimeters. So I'm going to lengthen and lift one leg to hip height. I'm going to flex my foot and I'm going to kick forward, pulse, pulse, and I soft point my leg behind, opening the hip flexor, pulse, pulse. I flex my foot forward, pulse, pulse, sweep my leg across the table, pulse, pulse, flex forward, pulse, pulse, sweep the leg across the table. Now, can you see I've got complete stability on the main trunk of my body. Nothing is moving from here upwards. The only thing that's moving is my leg in my hip joint. Flex forward, pulse, pulse, nice big range of motion, sweep my leg across the table, pulse, pulse. Everyone keeps their legs slightly lengthened out in front. It really helps with your stability. Now, if you want to progress, you can do this on your elbow, lift chest out to the sun, being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, pull that belly button to the spine. Or some of you might want to bring out your elbows slightly, but the top of your body doesn't move at all. Let's just do one more because I'm going to change it up slightly. One more, sweep your leg behind you, pulse, pulse, and back to center. We're back into a straight line, nice straight line. If you could, some of you might want to bring your bottom leg slightly out in front for stability. We're lengthening, lifting as high as it can go, and you're doing tiny little circles. Relax the foot. You lengthen through the hip joint, tiny little circles around a saucer. You're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, saucer in the opposite direction. Now rest whenever you like, and then come back into position. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Come in the opposite direction, 3, 2, 1, and then in the opposite direction, 3, 2, 1. Burning my glutes and lengthen back to center and just pat it out. We're going to go straight into our open book. Again, we're swinging our leg again, really working the glutes. So you choose if you want to open up your book with your band, a weight, or nothing at all. So you're lying on the edge of your block. You've bent your knees in front as though you're lying, as though you're sat on a chair. You have your arms in front. Lengthen and lift the top leg diagonally across. So my top leg comes across my bottom ankle. Now, if your glutes are feeling fatigued, just rest that leg, or maybe you'll just use your leg once for one of the open books and then just rest it. You don't have to incorporate the leg. So I lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom. I've got a nice tight band, feeling that in my waist. I open up my book as I increase the range of motion of my leg. Then I close my book. Lengthen through the shoulder joint, hip joint as much as you can. Slow and control. Open up. See if you can increase the range of motion of that leg. Relax the foot. It's all from the joints. One more. Head follows your hand. I'm going to see if I can go a little bit higher. And lengthen and lift behind. Hold. Bend the knee. Just pat it out. We're going to go straight into the other side, and I'm going to do the bridge later if we've got time. So we're going to go straight to the other side. We're going to do our side kick, classic side kick, then our little circles, and then we're going to do open book. So come to the other side very slowly. So we're in one straight line. I'm stuck in between that double glazing. Everyone's legs come 40, 50 centimeters out in front. So you choose the arm position that's good for you. If you really want to challenge yourself, your shoulders stacked over your elbow, or you bring your elbow out slightly. Oh, massive spider. I'm going to lengthen and lift my top leg. Sorry to hip height, this big spiders completely put me off. I've lengthened and lifted my top leg to hip height. Flex your foot and you flex forward, pulse, pulse, and sweep your leg behind you, pulse, pulse. Flex forward, nice big range of motion, stay at hip height, pulse, pulse, lengthen through the hip joint. And remember, it's a soft flex and a soft point, because you're really lengthening through the hip joint. Flex forward. Now you choose the arm position that's good for you, but as long as the top of your body doesn't move, only your leg is moving through your hip joint. If you want to progress further, shoulders stacked over your elbow. Whatever position you're in, you feel like you're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, and you're lengthening through the hip joint. So I'm a cracker. You want to progress further, bring that elbow out slightly, always lifting up that way. So let's just do a couple more. Sweep your leg behind. Top of your body doesn't move at all. I could see the top of my body was moving a little bit there. Bend the knee, we're going to change that, pat it out. Nice straight line. Some of you might want to bring your legs slightly out in front for stability as we lengthen and lift. And you start to circle around the saucer. Relax the foot around the saucer. Some of you might have one nice straight body. Bottom legs in front just for stability only. If you find you're not wobbling all over the place, bring your leg in and in the opposite direction. Rest whenever you like and come back into position. Being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head, and I'm lengthening through my hip joint and in the opposite direction. Choose the arm position, that's good for you. This is the progression. Ooh, glutes burning. Round the saucer, let's just do a few more. Lengthen, relax the foot. 3, 2, 1, and lengthen back to center. Ooh. We go straight into our open book. Remember, you don't have to use any equipment at all. I use a band and a weight. But that's the beauty of this Pilates. You just come to a level that's good for you. So either if you're feeling too fatigued, you can just lengthen your top leg diagonally across, not even incorporate it. Or if you want to work a little bit harder, lengthen and lift that leg diagonally across. You're going to open up your book, head follows your hand. Don't take your head off your block as you increase the range of motion of your leg. Close the book, lengthen. Pull the belly button to the spine, lengthen as much as you can. Relax that foot. Open up your book, head follows your hand, increasing the range of motion. Close the book. One more, open up. See if I can get my leg a little bit further, feeling that deep stretch, feeling the burn in the glutes. Lengthen, lengthen back to center. I can really feel that in my waist now because I've got a nice tight band. Lovely deep stretch, but you're really toning at the same time. Bend the knee and pat it out. So we're going to go straight into prone. So those who struggle with prone, now what did I say for prone? We're doing heel beats today. So for those who struggle in prone, you're in 4-point kneeling. You're going to lengthen one leg. You're going to do 5 pulses. Flex your foot. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Incorporating the opposite arm if you want to. And back to center. So you lengthen, flex, pulse, pulse. Incorporating the arm. 5 on either side, then rest. The rest of us, we're going to have diamond hands. Feet, our ankle, our heels, we're doing heel beats. are facing each other because we're going to push our heels together. We're doing heel beats. So this one's really important. You squeeze your glutes, pulling your belly button to the spine. I'm resting my head on my diamond hands. Now I'm going to squeeze my glutes and I lengthen and lift both legs, but you might just lengthen and lift by a millimeter. And you're going to pulse your heels together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Don't do anything with your head. So the aim is to lengthen and lift the legs. Can you see my thighs are off the mat? I'm squeezing my glutes, beating my heels together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. But you might not get as high as me. You might just lengthen and lift your legs off the floor by a millimeter. You're still using your glutes and the muscles in your back. And you're beating your heels together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Progression, you lengthen and lift your head at the same time. Beat, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some of you might want to stay out there for a little bit longer. And rest. I can really feel that in my glutes. I can feel that in my hamstrings. So either rest your head on your diamond as you beat for 5 or 10, or you lengthen and lift your head and shoulders, or you glue your hands to your forehead. So you choose the level that's good for you, but you don't want pressure in the lumbar spine. Let's just do a couple more. I lengthen and lift my legs. Might be 1 millimeter for some of you. Squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button to the spine and beat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Some of you might carry on. Some of you might do that with a lengthened and lifted head and sternum, or maybe gluing your hands to your forehead. So there's lots of levels for this one. Let's make it our final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, and rest. Capital E your arms and rock your hips from side to side. Just releasing any tension you hold in the lumbar spine. So we're just going to now do lizard, and then we're going to turn it into full cobra. So you're going to lengthen and lift your head and sternum, squeeze the glutes, feet are mat width apart, chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets. You're pushing into your left hand, trying to fully extend your left arm, looking over your left shoulder. Doesn't matter if you don't fully extend your left arm. So if you can look at your left foot, maybe really lengthen and lift. So if it's, maybe you can see your left glute. Bend your right knee if you can, but remember that's a progression. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Nice deep stretch in the back. We do the other side, roll the marble forward, squeeze the glutes, push your pubic bone into the mat, pull your belly button to the spine. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pocket, push into the right hand, fully extend the right arm if you can. Look over the right shoulder, look at your right foot. Maybe you might be able to look at your right glute as you bend your left knee. Bending the knee is a progression. Left elbow glued to the mat. And lengthen back to center. We're going to roll the marble forward, lengthen and lift our head and sternum. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets as you push into both hands. And you're trying to fully extend both arms. Squeeze the glutes, push your pubic bone into the mat. Or some of you might want to go a little bit further, having your hands underneath your shoulders. Pelvis stays glued to the mat. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Everyone puts their hands underneath their shoulders and we're all coming up to cat and cow. And for those who struggle on their knees, remember today it's a diamond. You lengthen and lift your head and sternum and opposite leg and arm. I've shown you the video so you know the progressions that are good for you. So you carry on with the diamond. When the rest of us are doing cow, sticking out our bottom, lengthen your head forward, shoulders down your back pockets, round and curl. Look at your belly button, squeeze your glutes. Some of you might want to tap your toes under. Turbo cat. The rest of you can do just regular cat, really rounding and curling. Some of you might want to stay in turbo cat as we do one more cow. Round and curl, look at your belly button. Push into your palms, squeeze your glutes. Or some of you might want to float your knees no more than 2 centimeters off the mat. So not only are you stretching the muscles in your spine, you're doing a little bit more core work. And 4-point kneeling. So 4-point kneeling today is, we're going to, with or without a band. This can be done in plank as well. Just doing a leg first, then the other leg, then one arm, then the other arm. I'll show you in a minute. The rest of us, with or without a band. You're going to lengthen leg and arm. You don't have to incorporate the arm, remember that. And salute and bend your knee. Don't drop the knee. Stay at hip height if you can. Lengthen out. Pull your belly button to the spine and back to center. Bowl soup on that lumbar spine. Lengthen left leg, right arm lengthen. Remember, you don't have to incorporate the arm. Salute, bend. Can you see I'm not dropping my knee? Lengthen out. Either come back to center, or you might want to do a couple more. It's up to you. Bend and extend. So you can do 1 or 2 or 3 of bending and extending. So you lengthen your leg. Some of you might want to incorporate your arm. Lengthen, see if you can hold for 2 to 3 seconds. Salute, bend and extend. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds. You either come to the mat and do the other side, or you might want to do 1 or 2 more. Total stability, with or without the band. Now you carry on doing that. You can do exactly the same in plank. Pull your belly button, spine, hip height, bend, extend. Other leg, bend, extend. Arm, lengthen, salute. Lengthen, back down to the mat. So you choose the level that's good for you. Lengthen, bend, and extend. Let's do 1 more either side. Lengthen, with or without small equipment. 1 more. Bend and extend. And back to center. Child's pose if you can, gluing your big toes together. Knees are mat width apart. As you lengthen your arms forward. If that really is too uncomfortable, knees are hip width apart. Don't sit on your heels, puppy dog. We do exactly the same thing as we walk our hands out to the left and right. Just doesn't put so much pressure on your knees. Push your chest into the mat. Rest your forehead onto the mat and rock from side to side. Now walk over to 10 o'clock. Right hand sits on left. Keep on walking those hands away so you feel a nice deep stretch down the right side. Back to 12. And over to 2. Left hand sits on right. Walk those hands away so you feel a lovely deep stretch down the left side. And back to 12. C curve the spine, squeeze the glutes, come up to that cat stretch, and we do thread the needle. With or without a band. So make sure you're stacked, pull your belly button to the spine. You're going to lengthen your right arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. Hips stay stacked over your knees. And lengthen, lengthen. Back to center. Right hand threads underneath left. Really walk that hand away, right hand away before your shoulder hits the mat and push into the left hand. So I'm really rotating my upper spine. Progression, lengthen and lift the left leg. That is a progression. Or some of you might want to try and swing that left leg out to the side as you unthread. Keep that leg nice and straight, feeling inner thigh stretch. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Slowly lengthen so you can feel you're working your waist. Make sure you're stacked. Lengthen your arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. Hips stay stacked over your knees. Lengthen, Lengthen back to center, right, left hand threads underneath right. I'm really walking that hand away before my shoulder hits the mat, pushing into my right hand, rotating that upper spine. Progression, lengthen or lengthen and lift the right leg. Keep the hips nice and flat, or some of you might want to try swinging that right leg out to the side as you unthread. So you might unthread here, or maybe have a slightly bigger range of motion. As I always say, range of motion is personal. And lengthen back to center. Bring the leg in. And then we'll slowly roll down. We started a bit later today. Oh, we're okay. I think we can fit in a quick bridge because we started about 33, 34. Okay, so we're going to slowly roll down with the assistance of the band, or level 1, 2, or 3. You know how it works. Really relax the feet and legs. Lean back by an inch. Tuck in your pelvis. Slowly roll back. Relax the feet and legs. Squeeze the glutes. Pull your belly button to the spine. Round and curl that spine. And slowly, slowly. Slowly roll down, hugging your knees to your chest and rocking from side to side, pulling your knees apart. Some of you might want to try your last roll over, so you lengthen both legs up to the ceiling. And you might be able to get your legs over your head by 3, 4 inches, a little bit further. Try not, you can push into your hands, but try to get your core to do the work. Don't roll on your neck. The aim is to stay on your shoulders, but touch your feet on the floor. Part those feet as wide as they can go. Flex the feet. Don't push into the hands as you slowly roll down. Remember, don't flare out your rib cage. Keep it melted into the mat. So you slowly lower your legs to a point that's good for you. Lovely deep stretch, but you're really working your core. Okay, so we've got a few minutes. Never get up like that, by the way, how I did. So we've got a few minutes, so I'm just going to do a couple of bridges. And the bridge today is lengthening your legs. So we're going to make sure we're closer to our feet, close to the seat bones. Remove your block. Push into the heels, lengthen your knees away. Now, either you extend one leg, progression is ceiling, extension, back down to the mat. I dropped my bottom a bit there. So either you're lengthening one leg, or the progression is ceiling, lengthened, hips in alignment, back to the mat. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling or over your head. If this is too difficult, just do your 4 steps. So you're lengthening one leg. Some of you might do ceiling, lengthen, and the mat. Or some of you might just be lengthening out one leg at a time. And then you slowly tuck in your pelvis, C-curve your spine, and roll your hand and bring your hands back to center. Let's do another one. Feet closer to your seat bones. Push into your heels. Lengthen your knees away. Knees are hip width apart. Some of you might come onto your tiptoes. You either lengthen one leg away at a time. If that's too difficult, just do your 4 steps. Like I'm on my tiptoes. If you're not on your tiptoes, push into your heels. Lengthen your arms up to the ceiling or maybe over your head. Feel like you're lengthening your hands and knees away from each other. You're going to extend one leg. Unless you're doing the progression of lengthening your leg up to the ceiling. Pushing into my heels, lengthening away the other leg. Don't drop your bottom or rock your hips. Keep those arms lengthened over your head as we slowly roll back to center. And bring your hands back to center. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Back into supine. If you grab your band and put the block underneath your head. And put the band underneath the arch of your right foot, and left leg can be bent or lengthened. Now push into that heel, hug that lengthened leg to the chest. You should feel a bit more flexible compared to an hour ago. pushing into that heel, feeling a deep stretch in the muscles in the back of your legs. Now relax that right leg, tee your left arm. Try to relax the foot and leg and lengthen out to the right. So don't tug onto the band too much. Let your core do the work. Relax the foot and lengthen that leg out to the right. And I'm squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button to the spine. And lengthen the leg back to center. Put the band in the left hand, tee your right. I'm trying not to tug onto the band. I'm relaxing my foot and lengthening through the hip joint. So if you can look in the opposite direction and lengthen back to center. Let's swap over. Right leg can be bent or lengthened. Push into the heel. You just really relax. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you can deepen that stretch. So I'm going to relax and deepen my stretch. Now really relax the foot, tee the right arm. Try not to tug or create tension on the band. Relax the foot and lengthen through the hip joint and lengthen it out to the left. Lengthen back to center, squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button to the spine. You can feel your core is doing the work. Band in the right hand and look in the opposite direction. Keep those shoulders glued to the mat. And lengthen back to center. Squeeze in your glutes, pull that belly button to the spine and drop the band. Piriformis stretch. Left ankle and right thigh, hugging your right thigh into your chest. Really relax that right foot. Really hug the knee to the chest. Something different. We're going to put our right foot resting on the floor. Tee your arms. Your left foot comes over to the right, so you feel a deeper stretch in your muscles in your back. Some of you might want to hug that knee to the chest, so you feel a really deep stretch in the muscles in the glutes in the back. And then bring your knees back to center. We'll do the other side. Right ankle on left thigh. Hug your knees to your chest and really relax that left foot. Feel a deep stretch in the right glute. Really relax so you can just deepen that stretch. Left foot comes down to the mat and you'll tee your arms and your right foot comes over to the left. Feeling a nice deep stretch in the back. And if you can, some of you might want to hug that knee to the chest. Just a deeper stretch in the glutes and the back. So it's okay if you stay down there. Some of you might be able to hug that knee to the chest. And then come back to center. Now you can remove your block and take your ball. We're going to press into the ball for 8, just to release tension you're holding the head, neck and shoulders. Remember, you're going to create a double chin and you've got to remember to breathe. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push, double chin. And relax. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And one more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. Double chin. And release. Just gently roll your head from left to right, but really relax the muscles in your neck so you can deepen the stretch as you roll from left to right. And back to center. Just focus on your breath. And when you're ready, if you gently roll to the side and get yourself to seated in your own time, slowly. You don't want to feel dizzy. And I'm just sitting on my block just to get a nice neutral spine. we lengthen up. You're going to lengthen your right leg forward as you hug your left knee to the chest. You're going to hold on to your left knee as you lengthen your left arm up to the ceiling and up and over. You're looking over your left shoulder, but you're still sitting really tall, pulling your belly button to the spine and pushing that knee inwards. If you've got the flexibility, you can rest your elbow on your knee. Really look over that left shoulder, so you're really rotating your spine. Lengthen up and back to center. Now you're going to hug your right knee to your chest and you're lengthening your left leg away. Hold on to your knee and you're lengthening your right arm up and over. Look over that right shoulder. Push that knee in. Some of you might be able to rest your elbow on your knee. And you're still sitting nice and tall and rotating your spine. And back to center. We're going to come to 4-point kneeling. You're going to tuck your toes under. Come to standing. Some of you might want to put weights in your hands. Pilates stance. Gluing the heels together. So have a micro bend in the knees, pushing into my heels. Tailbone up to the ceiling. Squeeze the glutes. Pull the belly button to the spine. And I'm really C-curving my spine, rolling my spine up. Squeeze those glutes. You can really feel I'm using my deep core muscles, especially with those weights in my hand. And back to center. You might want to drop the weights or use them as we do our arm circles. Some of you might want to come up onto your tiptoes, soles your feet, or stay on your tiptoes. Focus on something that's not moving if you're on your tiptoes. Really helps with your balance. Still working your deep core muscles if you're on your tiptoes. Let's do one more. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep those arms lovely and lengthened. And back to center.